right, welcome to 10 Away, back to the dynamic duo, as someone would call it. The brothers are back. 10 Away, podcast where two brothers talk about NASCAR. So, good week for Bristol for Blake.
Yeah,
You got
absolutely.
getting a win and getting a top 10 out of it, out of both races. So, but yeah, you had a pretty cool just weekend at Bristol. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about it, and then we'll jump into it all.
Yeah, I really can't complain at all how Bristol went for me. Won in the truck series, probably my favorite win I've had with the 34 guys, and just the significance of the night, how things played out. I had my wife with me, which there's a story with that in just a second we'll get into, and then even for Xfinity, it was kind of a bummer night on pit road, pit stop wise. We didn't get to run anything stellar, but we made a lot of adjustments and stuff that helped Jeremy. And then the way the race fell, strategy, and some cars that fell out, we ended up finishing ninth. So I really can't complain at all about how Bristol treated me.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
tell us about the victory lane and just the more significance of actually winning. But you have a good story with it.
so my wife Sam, growing up, her Baka, which is her grandma, that's what she called her, was Baka.
Not Chewbacca,
Not Chewbacca, just
although
regular
she did make
Baka.
similar sounds.
She was a big race fan, loved Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, mostly Jeff Gordon until Jeff had retired. But she passed away about 10 years ago. And so over the last few years, Sam has gotten to go to the racetrack and enjoy racing from a different perspective. She always
Hmm.
knew what NASCAR was because Baco would go and watch the races, or Sam
Skip
was
her
over there
birthdays.
hanging out with her. She would watch the race. So Sam kind of was around it, but didn't really care for it until she met me.
Yeah.
And then the funny story was Baca missed Sam's birthday party when she was like a teenager or something. Was like, no, baby, I'm not coming over. I'm gonna stay home and watch the race. So
Can you
the
blame her?
story, the story behind it was, so we drove up on Thursday before the truck race. We stayed overnight because we had to do the Xfinity race. But Sam came with me. She had a pit pass for both days. And we get to the track. She's asking me before we walked into the track. She's like, "Hey, is it gonna be cold tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's probably gonna get a little chilly. It stays a little cool in there because it's a bowl. Like
Yeah.
it's just no passing air. It's just air from the car, so it can be a little chilly inside the
It's a
racetrack. Plus,
coliseum, Sam. It gets
it's
cold there.
it's yeah, it's in the mountains of Tennessee, so it's gonna be a
Yeah.
little bit chillier at night. And so she grabs her sweater and she brings it inside, and I didn't even think about it until with I don't remember how many laps were left. I want to say it was after the end of stage two. I walked over and I talked to her after we had won the race off pit road, and we put Lane in the lead. And
Hmm.
I said something. I was like, "All right, all we gotta do is last 100 laps, and we're going to victory lane." And she looked at me, and said, "I know, I'm so excited." And then she looked down at her shirt a little bit. She goes, "And Baca's here too." And it hit me all at once. I'm like, "Oh, this just added way so much more value if we can go to victory lane."
Hmm.
And I just started thinking about. It. I was like, "Man, if this can somehow happen, this will be so cool because she's with me. We now have our new temporary but like full-time gas man, Patrick Gaddy. He was wanting a sword really bad. And so when he came on board a few months ago, he was like, "Man, I want to win Bristol. I want to get a sword." And so here we are, like we're in the lead. We'd already spun. The night was just kind of weird,
Yeah.
how it played out. And we'll get to that in a second. But to have her and to get Gaddy like in victory lane at Bristol was just super cool. We kind of called our shot almost. We were like, let's go out and get Bristol because we didn't win Darlington like we should have, but we knew we were going to be good at Bristol. We know we'll be good at New Hampshire, and
Hmm.
it was surreal when I got to carry or walk over to Victory Lane with Sam holding my hand, walk up the hill to get up on top of the roof where Victory Lane's at, and I was like, this is so cool. And so she got to experience all that, and then seeing Gaddy like ecstatic, being up there as well with us, because all of his career for the most part, he hadn't really won a whole lot of races until basically this year. All the wins we've had this year were he might have had a couple ARCA wins or something, and he won the Daytona race with Parker Kligerman earlier this year,
Oh,
and it,
well,
it ultimately got taken away.
yeah.
But he's like, we still got to celebrate and have a good time. But he just said the significance of this one was just so much different.
That's cool.
Um, but then also to kind of sum up the story, it was cool to have Sam in victory lane. I purposely said like, hey, we're gonna take a picture with the trophy with Lane. We did all that, and I just thought it was a really cool moment that her Baca grew up loving NASCAR, had passed away, but most likely had seen me on TV at some point
Yeah.
pitting a race car, and then Sam, unbeknownst to her, would eventually marry me. That NASCAR kind of comes full circle in her life that
Yeah.
Baca's probably in heaven watching racing and like, oh, my baby's in victory lane. I just thought that was so cool.
Yeah, it's always cool to
Um,
see how like stuff like a sport like NASCAR, or just NFL can also play into this. Any sport can play into it, but just how it kind of has a web to it all. And
yeah,
for me, I didn't love NASCAR. Loved NASCAR growing up, but for the fact of like cool cars, looking at like, and we played the games. It was just our atmosphere growing up. And then I didn't really come to personally love NASCAR until I left home. And I was
right.
like, it was my kind of fix to being homesick. Like something felt so
Yeah,
familiar about being on the East Coast, but like watching what I grew up around was nostalgic, but then also I just dove deep into it. So
you just
uh
started to miss it more since it wasn't around you all the time.
yeah, I started to see more of a significance to it in the way of like, oh, I think I could really enjoy it. It started out with just learning about Dale Sr., but anyways, yeah, no, that's an awesome story. Love that. Like there was like a I don't know if I would call it a full
That
circle moment, but like definitely a
that
sentimental moment.
connection that
Yeah.
kind of from the past to the present met. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. But
But
anyways, let's get into the actual weekend, shall we?
yeah, let's do it.
And all right, Bristol is in the books. It was kind of a weekend. Just to clarify, there might be some crossover, very little though. But like, we did try to record this while live reacting to the race. Ultimately, like, it was fun,
It was
but
too chaotic. It
it
was
just
too chaotic.
became kind of chaotic. It's something that I don't know if we would try to record during a race like that again, but we might, we definitely will do another like live, maybe watch
Yeah,
party. And it's just, yeah, also Bristol turned out to not be the race we were kind of anticipating. And we
not at
got,
all.
yeah, so it turned, yeah, long story short, turned into a much longer deal than we thought. And we ended up just agreeing to re-record the actual thing. So, but the truck race, you already mentioned it. Lane Riggs wins. Y'all spin on the first lap from last to first, put on quite a show.
Spin and win. That's what we started
Spin and
calling it.
win. Yeah, and so real quick, if there's a jingle, it's gonna happen right now. And if there's not a jingle, I'm just gonna give you the shout outs. I want to create a jingle, but I'm just not a music person, so it's kind of hard for me to. Really love the 19 trucks look. Love the 26 and I love the 45. The 19, I think, was South Point Casino. I could be completely wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, and already having some days between now and Thursday, I'm kind of forgetting what the 26 was. Uh, I know I liked it though, and kind of maybe the same goes for the 45, but I liked it a lot. I also like y'all's yellow loves. It's just as clean as it gets. The 45 was no, that was the
I've
75.
been telling Lane, I've been telling
I think I
Dylan
might
and the
be thinking of the
guys,
75 and I put down the 45. Um, so
the
yeah.
75 was the light blue truck.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I think I maybe typed it wrong. The 75 was just as clean as y'all's truck, and I love it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've
um
been telling them for a while they need to do a red chrome number, like a burgundy chrome number on the 34 Love Struck. I think that would be sexy.
that'd be sick. That would hit
Yeah.
hard. That would hit so
Yeah.
hard.
That would be cool.
But
But
yeah, like you said, y'all spun right away, but it didn't affect y'all's night. If anything, it probably made a more fun race for Lane just driving through the field. Um,
I don't even know how to put this all into words. So this was probably my favorite win that I've had. I beforehand, if someone asked me what my favorite win was, it was IRP. IRP, we laid the smackdown on everyone. It was just
yeah,
the night that I told everybody before IRP, I said, I can't wait to get a weekend where
you put
we're
them
like
over your knee and just spanked them.
belt to ass, baby. Like
Yeah,
just I want to go out and have a weekend where everybody knows, okay, the 34 is to beat. I want it to be put in like give us the ball. Like when you
yeah,
come down pit road, I want the rock. I want to like score every time. And they
yeah,
we did that in IRP. We P1 in practice. We didn't get to qualify, and then we go out there and we run down the leader starting 11th, go to P1 after 21 laps. And then same thing after stage two, we stopped after our second stop. We were, I think, third or fourth, run down the leaders again in 20 laps. We lead 160 of 200 laps, and both pit stops came down P1, went out P1. And I mean, it wasn't even like anybody was close to us on pit road. So that was my favorite win until now. And I would say it's still a really close second because of how much fun it was. But it was such a thrash. There was so much stress involved. It was such a team effort to win Bristol Thursday night that it just added an element. Like I said, the sentimental value of having family, like my wife was there, and then getting Gaddy his first win at Bristol. There was a lot of cool bonus parts to winning, but it was such a team effort to go out and win Thursday night that it made it so cool. And spinning on the first lap, we took those tires off immediately, re-glued them. We pitted at the end of this first stage, and then at the end of the second stage, we ended up running three full pit stops, won the race off pit road after stage two, and we just never looked back. Like it was
Yeah.
such a fun night for that first half of the race. It was just like, hey, re-glue, get prepared. We were on like, we were very much on high alert at all times,
Yeah.
and to see what came of it and all the hard work and the strategy and the calls, it all went our way. And that truck was so good that I mean, Lane got to drive his race, but he didn't. It wasn't all him. Like last year, it was we ran one pit stop, we came down seventh, went out sixth. This year, it was like three pit stops, and the original game plan was to do one at end of stage two and just go take the lead, or if we had the lead, keep the lead.
Well, that's a
But
good
it was such a fun night, but stressful night. I loved being a huge part of it.
yeah. No, it was fun to watch, especially just the emotion from the beginning to the end was awesome. But that's what you're talking about with the pit stops. I noticed I maybe I just kind of just now noticed, but like are you a fan of this like one stop race kind of deal at Bristol with the trucks?
It's less stressful, I'll say that. It's, I mean, I only got to worry about one stop and that's it. Like I even joked last year when we won, I said, "Man, that was easy. We one pit stop and we weren't even the leader and we had to keep the lead." He went from sixth to first after a few laps and held the lead after a few cautions, but it's definitely less stressful than when you're running several stops. Um, so,
Yeah.
am I a fan of it? I guess you could say so, but I really enjoy being a part of, the win, like more than just
Well,
one
I
pit
mean,
stop. There
I
was a
guess
lot.
the good opposite question would be, would you want to be a part of the cup race?
Oh my goodness, I
Just,
know.
that
All the
was
stops they had to run.
we're gonna get into that, but I got one more question before we should look at the top 10. But the 38 had some issues, some technical issues, and particularly electrical issues. And in those moments, when you see a teammate going through those issues, what does the pit crew do as like a reactionary? Like, are y'all prepping for something? I can imagine the road crew is probably that's their ballpark, but as like what do y'all do in those moments? Do y'all think about going to help them at all, or
We so sometimes it comes down to like what the problem is, the diagnosis. If we're taking off, like if it's a battery issue, we got to take off the left rear so we can get access to the battery.
oh,
But
that's interesting.
um yeah, it's like above the frame rail on the left rear. It's behind the driver's seat basically. So all that being said, it's more so road crew. Road crew starts talking to us about what we might have to do if we pit under
Hmm.
some kind of issue, or if it's just pull hood pins to get to the motor.
Yeah.
I know the 38 guys had an ECU sensor or something like that go bad,
And
or
it
it
seems like
wasn't
that's
tightened
all it
down
was.
properly. But they lost 12 laps. I mean, your
No,
night's
absolutely.
shot once you lose 12 laps at
Yeah.
Bristol.
They've had some
Unless it's
bad
the Cup
luck.
race, you might have been able to come back from the Cup race
I feel like
if you
both,
had.
yeah. Oh, gosh, man, gosh, we'll get into that. But I feel like front row, the two trucks for y'all have been either bad luck or really good races. Like y'all have had few in betweens, but like particularly the 38 has had a lot of bad luck.
Yeah,
I look at like Darlington just, unfortunately made
drove
an
too
error.
hard, too fast.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we've talked about this before. I mean, the 11's been really consistent, has the most wins, but I feel like y'all have been the ones to really make them run, really make them hold their money close, because y'all are
Yeah.
giving them a run for it. Uh, so, but let's look at the top 10. As we said, Lane Riggs, great friend of the show and sneak peek, but he should be coming on to Pop and Top this week, so stick around for that. Coming on to talk about that, always be fun. Maybe wave your swords around. I'll sit here only hoping I'll go
Got
find a
two of them.
sword. I'll Amazon a sword in real quick just so I can be a part of something. But we second Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes, I mean, just that whole team has just been an off year for them, and good finish with second. They had a good run at the end, but they couldn't pass y'all. Looking further down. Tanner Gray gets six. Connor Mozak seventh. Connor Mozak, I feel like, especially if he puts in another year next year, he's going to be quite competitive. I think he's one that's kind of getting it down. The 44 of Andre Perez. That's all I'm going to say
Okay.
with his name because I'm just not good
It's
with.
a lot.
I'm just not good with this. Like, I have a story of like I had to call out names while at work, and it was just a whole list, and it's a very diverse uh list of names, and like I just handed it off to somebody who was clearly better. I was like, don't put me in charge of this.
Yeah.
Same thing when I worked at Chick-fil-A when I was in high school. I was like, don't make me call out names. I'm just
I
horrible
totally
with.
forgot you worked at Chick-fil-A.
I didn't. Yeah, he gets eighth though. Andre gets eighth, and then Corey LaJoy gets ninth. He's really doing a lot with that 77. I'm not quite sure the logistics of it in the way of like, they stopped doing the '07, and we saw that one just going down. So I'm not quite sure what's been going on over there. But hey, solid finish at ninth. And then Matt Crafton, uh, yeah,
P10.
good. Yeah, P10, good for him. He hasn't really been in the show quite often. His and he's retiring this year, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah. So we'll be sad to see him go, but man, you talk about like a career in trucks. For one, it's a great career, but also like I vividly remember racing Matt Crafton in some old NASCAR Thunder games.
Yeah, he's
So
been around for a while in
he's
the
been here
truck
for
series.
he's put in his time, definitely. But let's jump into the Xfinity race where Eric Almirola takes it. Takes it
The
away from
88 win streak of like month and a half straight is gone.
I mean, his stats are still good. I mean, he finished
He
top
finished
five,
fourth.
or no, fifth. He finished fifth, and so I think he's tied for the most consecutive top fives in I guess the Busch series. I'm not sure if it's all of NASCAR, but or I said the Busch series, the Xfinity
Wow.
series next year to be the O'Reilly series. And so, but let's go with the jingle if it's here. People are going to start to look forward to that, hopefully. But if it's not there, let's just jump into the shout outs. Let's say the one of Carson Quaffle. Pretty good looking car. I'm not always huge on that style, but it got me this week. But the 35 looked really good. It was a forget the sponsor. It was an electrical sponsor, so they put some lightning on it. Man, you put flames or lightning on a car, it catches my attention.
Usually he's pretty good.
Yeah, if you put lightning and flames on one car, I think
It's an electrical fire.
you won't be able to keep up with those die casts. Um,
Owen's gonna buy them all.
I- I'll have at least nine between me and my dog. But anyways, the next one was the 45. I didn't quite catch what the sponge was, but I just yeah, Alpha Prime will probably always be on this list no matter what. They kill it every week. That's one person I want to have on the podcast is once I find out who their graphic designer is and I can start stalking them and find out what their address is and then knock on their door, they'll be on the podcast.
He'll be on the
Tied
pot.
up
Hey,
and in chains. But
how do you create all these really cool looking cars?
yeah. Shut up. Nobody clip this because yeah, man, that would be bad for me. But so yeah, y'all had a pretty good y'all come Jeremy Clements finished his ninth.
Yeah,
And you already kind of hint or talked about your night, but yeah, I mean y'all didn't do the best on pit road, you said, right? It
we had a
wasn't the
lot of
best night.
adjustments. It
A lot
was
of
kind of a
adjustments.
crash course of a
Well,
night for
what
us.
were
Like
those adjustments in the way of like
the very first stop, I had to put a packer in the left front
what is a
shock.
Packer again?
It's just kind of like a really thin spacer. It looks like a C that you
Okay.
slide in around the shock, and it
Oh,
just helps
okay.
shock rebound.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
then
crazy
the
how small it
second
is.
pit stop, they were wanting to put a spacer on the right front hub because they were noticing that the ball joint was rubbing the inside of the tire. And
How do
so
you
after
find that
the
out? Just from
just looking
like
at the tires, the wear and tear on them after they come
so
off the
quick
car,
quick like small insert about that because Lindsay was asking me while watching the race, she saw like the person taking
to
off
do
the
the tread
rubber.
depths.
Yeah, so I told her I was like for me that was like them tracking the wear, but something like that can also be diagnosed in that process.
So yeah, the flat surface on top, like your contact surface of the tire,
Yeah.
has little tiny holes,
Hmm.
and they're all like they're not. I'm trying to think of how to explain this. They're not straight. They're kind of at an angle over the
Yeah.
tire, but every like 3 or 4 inches, there's a tiny hole that's pre-made into the tire, and
Kind of
so when
like
it
a
comes off the
cigarette
car, you
burn
can.
into it.
It almost looks like one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You take a little instrument. It measures depth of tread, and you could say it might be quarter of an inch shorter now than it was before. So you take all those measurements and that data, and then it can tell you, are you wearing on the outside of the tire, the inside of the tire? Is it equal balance?
Yeah.
But where you can see the ball joint rubbing on the inside of the tire is it might be that there's an extra line
Mm.
around the inside of the actual rubber.
Oh.
So Jeremy's dad, Tony, was like, "Hey Blake, we need to put this on this next pit stop." And I was like, "Okay." So I looked up at Case and I said, "Hey Case, do I need to put this on?" He was like, "No, don't worry about that." And I was
Oh.
like, "Okay." So
Who do you listen to? Crew
I'm
chief or
looking at the
daddy?
team, owner. I'm looking at the crew chief, and I'm like, I'm
Oh,
about to have to
so
make a.
Jeremy's dad owns the team.
I think technically they started
Oh.
it. It's in Jeremy's name, but
Oh.
I'm sitting here like got the
Oh.
team owner and the crew chief contradicting me, and I'm like, all right, let me try to ask one more time. I looked at Tony. I was like, hey, Case says we don't need to put this on. So then he was like, we need to put it on because it's gonna rub the tires rubbing the ball joint. I'm like,
Sounds like they
you
need to
make a
talk.
very valid point here that we do not need that happening. So I'm like, I'm gonna lean towards Tony. And I told Case, I'm like, hey, he's really adamant about me putting this on. And he's like, he's the boss, so do it. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. Well, I run out to the right front on the second pit stop, and the whole stop goes terribly wrong.
Mm,
The very thin, as in like a quarter of an inch to an eighth of an inch spacer, falls flat on the ground. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And anytime that ever happens, you can almost not get them up unless you like pull off your gloves and pick it up with your bare hands.
wow.
So I see that. Well, my gun switched because the buttons on my gun had backed themselves out. So now I'm having to hold my gun in a different position to hit lug nuts. I finished the stop after it was bizarrely long, like 22 seconds. Um, and we tell Jeremy, like, hey, sorry about the slow stop, gun malfunctioned. And then I looked at Tony, and Tony was like, hey, did you get the spacer? And I said, no, it fell flat on the ground. You could see it laying on the ground.
Yeah.
And so we had that to do after the first stop was a packer adjustment, and we had that. So then the third stop was kind of normal. Um, but it was chaos a little bit. We just didn't get to run any clean stops. We were making adjustments and stuff, which sometimes you just gotta put your head down and know that you're not gonna be able to run fast stops. And I think the saving grace to all this is people know I went out and won a race the night before. So it's
Yeah.
not like I don't know what I'm doing, but it
Yeah.
just kind of makes you feel like, man, I look like an idiot out here sometimes. But like I said, I did win the night before. I got to run good stops then. So it's one of those I just kind of have to put my pride aside and not care to an
Yeah.
extent about like what we look like. It's just getting the adjustments done for Jeremy, and then ultimately, like at the end of the night, we have a ninth place finish.
So whenever like mistakes like that happen, particularly between not only like something like spacer and your gun, when that intensity of 22 seconds, that probably feels like 5 minutes is
Oh God,
done,
it
and
does.
you go to the back over the wall and everything. Is that something your crew chief comes down and I can only imagine he's not scolding you or anything like that, but like being like, okay, hey, what happened here? Like, let's just try and see that way we can, figure something out. Is that kind of
Yeah,
the
I mean
process?
that's it depends. Sometimes you have a crew chief that's a little bit more of a douche. They're just a little bit more fiery. But I
Go
mean, in
ahead,
all honesty,
name the names.
Case is really cool. So is Dylan. Like both of them are very good, level-headed guys. Like have a
Yeah,
good time at the racetrack. Like I really couldn't ask for any better crew chiefs. They've been awesome.
yeah,
But for all things given, they immediately come up and like, hey, something all good with your gun. Like they you can usually kind of see. They've seen enough pit stops that they know something's going on.
yeah,
So Case came up to me and was like, is your gun all right? I'm like, the buttons backed themselves out. And come to find out when I talked to the Paley guys, I had them work on it really quick. They put Loctite on the threads so that it does it back itself out. Well, if you break it, you have to go through and put glue on it yourself. And I didn't know that. So in the middle of the pit stop, the vibration from the gun is slowly just backing out the
yeah,
threads, the bolts, so that your pressure for your button can be tighter or
yeah,
softer. And so I didn't know. And I backed it out before the race because it was really stiff. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna loosen this. Just didn't know that I needed to re-glue them. So
yeah.
it sucked, but it is what it is. And ultimately, I can look at it and be happy that we got the team a ninth place finish.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and just finish up the Xfinity series because it was a tough night for the eight team. I think we
Yeah.
can compare the eight team to Josh Berry. Um,
Yeah,
right
absolutely. I would
now
even
is
say
just
that's the 38 as well. The 38, the 8, and the 21.
38
You're
of the truck like Chandler Smith.
truck for Chandler. I
Yeah.
feel like they all have very similar luck so far, just
Yeah. Just something happens and then
kind of
yeah,
out
it
of their
just
control.
puts them in another hole. Another like kind of skipping towards the end because it was a pretty normal race. There was a lot of good racing. I actually really enjoyed the Xfinity race. Hard to pass, but at the same time was not impossible. It was kind of fun to watch them set up. I mean, Bristol's just so short. You'd see one attempt for at one lap, but then it would take another 4 laps to get the momentum back up to make that another attempt. And but it was really fun to watch people get competitive. Again, Connor Zilic ran the fastest lap and was really good, but he wasn't lights out either, I would
No,
say. Once you got the lead, it was easy to hold it. So I think that was playing into it. But yeah, chaotic restart with about 25 to go. Connor Zilic got swallowed up, but still comes back to finishes fifth. And then one person I just want to, we talk about Connor Zilic having an impressive record of top 10 finishes. Another impressive record going right now is Creed with the most runner-ups at 15th now.
No, that
Uh,
guy can't catch a break. Poor Sheldon.
Man, yeah, and he just needed a couple more laps. Like he genuinely, I think if San Mare wasn't the one person he had to pass, I think he would have been a lot more aggressive. But he passed him clean. You know, Sheldon was honestly in good spirits after. He kind of was laughing. I think he understood, the situation at the end, but yeah, it just sucks for him. But it was also nice to see him get competitive again. He hasn't really been like had a race like that. I feel like where we really see him charging. He may have had one or two. I just can't recall him this year, but ever since like the two, I would say like I haven't really seen him there.
Yeah,
But hopefully that team is figuring it out because I enjoy Sheldon Creed and I am just pulling for him to get a win. I don't know what I want out of his
someday.
career. Like I used to be like I want to see this guy go cup racing. Now I'm like I just want to see him get a win, and I'm just so curious if that is a dam that's broken after.
Yeah,
We can say the same for like Ty Gibbs and a couple other people where I'm like, or Carson Hocevar. Once they get that win, because there is that shift, something happens when you get your
something's gonna
win.
happen.
Yeah. But to look at the top 10, Eric Almirola, was this his first or second win of this? I think I want to say it's his second win,
I think
but
he's got two. I think he won one
yeah.
other race this year.
Um, but then looking down further, Harrison Burton comes up seventh. Yeah, good race for them. Chandler, Christian X. I always want to say Chandler, even though I'm looking right at his name. Christian X. I want to have him on here just so I can insult him right to his
Christian
face.
X.
Yeah.
Christian Eck is
But yeah, he brings the 16th home. It's the 16 car home, eighth, and then yeah, I mentioned y'all were ninth, and Brendan Poole with a 10th place finish.
good job, Brennan.
Yeah, Brendan Poole is just solid in those Alpha Prime cars. Always quiet, and then ends up getting a good result. Let's get into the meat of the weekend, which was the Cup race. Holy, my goodness! You watch practice
Did
on Friday, and you're
not
like, "Uh-oh, this is going to be boring." And
did
then
not
40
think this
laps
race was
in,
gonna be anything like what it was.
no, and I was excited to watch it, but then like there is a lot of conversation. Let's just go ahead and let me get out the way of the couple things that way we can really just get into it. Bell wins, good for him. Scheme shout outs, Jingle. Don't know if it's there. The 43 was really cool. The
I did
88
like
was
the
really cool.
43.
Yeah, kind of a th classic throwback look. They weren't throwing back to anything, but just kept it classic, and I like that. Um, the 88 was cool. I'm not a huge about food being on cars, but back-to-back weeks, the food being on a car, the waffle on
Fast
Suarez
food.
and the burger on the 88 worked for me. And then the 67 inverted of what the normal Robin Hood scheme is looked really good. I really like seeing those Robin Hood schemes. I hope they come back and stay around. Um, but yes, tire wear is the story of this one. I mean, my goodness, it fell off quick. It was enjoyable to see, but that first stage where we just saw it drop off, it was so chaotic and enjoyable, but at the same time, I didn't know who the lead car was to really look at because I was sitting there watching. And I was like, okay, so we're going into green flag pit stops. But then, like, by the time that whole rotation was over, within another 4 to 10 laps, the leader would come back in again. And it was just so enjoyable to watch it. Like everybody just on their feet. This is a race where like I do not envy the crew chief's job at all to have to switch up that strategy. Um, but
It's
yeah,
really not that bad.
well, it seems bad from the watching because you're like, okay, yeah, where are we? What do we do? And then also like caution seems
Well, I'll
so
be honest with you. From a crew chief and or pit crew standpoint, in a race like that, if the tire wear is so bad, you're just gonna take tires every chance you get. Like it's that simple. You really, unless it's been two or three, 4 laps,
yeah.
anything pushing like 7, 8 to 10. The reason I say that is because if you have say 5 to 10 laps and you know that these tires are okay, they're not great,
You want
but
to
you have a
save them?
cording, you want to try to like reuse them for later. So what the 48 was in a predicament was they only had left sides left
Hmm.
at the end of the race. So in that moment, he made a decision. He's like, if it goes green, I might come to track down the leader, pass him and win. It
Yeah.
didn't end up going that way, but his hand was forced. So
Yeah.
there's some times where it feels like maybe at home, like there's so much chaos because you're watching so many cars. But ultimately, when you're in the pit stall and you know your exact strategy is, I have to get tires every so many laps if there's a possibility, because I either need to preserve tires in a set or the tire wear is so bad. Like Darlington, after 2 or 3 laps, if there's a caution and you can in pit,
Yeah.
depending on the series, because you're only allotted so many sets of tires, but you're gonna probably come down and pit and then
Yeah.
have those as like an emergency set. So
It
um,
it is
it's not as
crazy.
bad as you think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, from the viewer standpoint, you're like, I don't even know. I would just throw the
I'll also
clipboard
add
away.
this. The harder part, I think, is this isn't my area of expertise, is making the right adjustments. Like when Dylan's on
Yeah.
the box, like we're doing track bar down one or two, or up one or two, or wedge, or air pressure. So there's three different factors right there that you got to figure out where this car is going. That
Yeah.
next, however many laps we're gonna run, you got to be able to set your pressures lower so they build up and optimize at the set you want them
Yeah.
for a longer run. So
I do want to
that's where
bring
I think it's
like
hard.
I want to bring someone like Dylan, your crew chief on the 34 on or just some sort of crew chief because I have such
We'll get
I
both of them, Case and Dylan. They'll come on. They
yeah.
already told me they would.
And then we'll talk about, we'll put them against each other. Um uh anyways, yeah,
Fight.
I have so many questions about setups because it's kind of fascinating to me and I don't quite understand everything, but yeah, I mean like first off, let's just get Josh Berry out of the way. Not
Poor Josh. Never
I
even stood
picked
a chance in the playoffs.
he was about that bad cards, and I picked him to win because I genuinely think like if one of the tracks I think he could win at be Martinsville or Bristol or some of these smaller ovals that play into his upper or his kind of experience. But yeah, I just felt bad for him. I mean, like you could tell he did not want to get out of the car, nor could he actually even see how to get out of the car. But like, man, that was a fire, and that was the thing. That was the thing for me throughout the night, especially towards the end. How many fires we saw. I like how much this tire dropped off, but we need to find that balance between we don't need six
This
fires.
is too much, and then
Yeah,
this isn't enough tire
and
wear.
we were talking about that live on the live stream, and I was just saying like we were both really enjoying the race, but also like, listen, this is
This is a
really
lot to
fun,
handle.
but like the amount of fires we're seeing is also concerning because it only, one bad incident with a fire. Fire is just so unpredictable, I feel like. So we need to figure out either how to patch that area up if we can or something, because I like this tire wear and I would choose this over what we've been getting before. I am a
Yeah,
Larson fan. The past two Bristol races were quite fun for a Larson fan, but like if you're not a Larson fan, and those past two Bristol races, like uh those were not as fun as this one. This one was just chaotic, crazy. It was so fun to watch. Like at one point, Ryan Blaney drove like it me in a video game, putting it on easy because
just
he
drove right
literally,
around him.
yeah, just came off, had momentum, just found a gap, drove right through him. Wasn't even like it was talent, but it was just like they're just clearly going slower. There's a gap. I'm driving through them, and he's just on his way, looping through them all just
Yeah.
because that's how different the tires were. And I was like, this is
Well, I'll even
enjoyable.
add this on Jeff Gluck's Twitter account when he asked the weekly poll of did you like Bristol or did you not like Bristol? And it was 81%
Yeah.
people liked it. So I think that's an immediate fix NASCAR for the most part can go and do like right here in the moment going forward is have a softer tire that wears faster.
And I want to praise, Goodyear really brought it back in an intentional way. And it's so, again, that's another job I don't envy because like people are like, oh, they're bringing this softer tire. And then when they see practice going 75 laps with really nothing of note, people are like, oh, Goodyear sucks. And then like the temperature change being the big factor is crazy. Which kind of makes me like upset that NASCAR doesn't race in similar temperatures or doesn't practice in similar temperatures that they're going to race in. I mean,
Hmm.
you can't do it to perfection, but it's also like with this tire, it's so like how many teams came in with knowledge of practice only to adjust to what the actual race was. And I think Chase Elliott may have said something like I want to see what this he want kind of was saying like we need to have this race again, but with people coming in with the mindset of this is going to happen. Like I would be curious because I guarantee you Hamlin would have raced different because we know how good he is on saving tires. All these veterans saving tires would have probably raced very different. Whereas like you have other people who are just going for it and they're like, my tire's going to wear out, but like everybody's wears out at such a similar point. So I'm curious to see what that race would be like, and I hopefully we can see that next time. But yeah, like that's something I want to see. I also, again, the fires, I was enjoying it, but like for driver safety, again, like you can't prevent wrecks and flipping, but hopefully we can prevent like these kind of fires from something like a rubber buildup kind of
Yeah.
deal. Um, but yeah, we saw some chaos. I mean, my goodness, it's hard to kind of capture everything, but particularly of note, like um, gosh, everything's going out of my head. But Chase Elliott, he has a pretty hard wreck and takes him out of the race. And we sat there just watching. Oh, will the 48 be able to pass him on points and trying to, and then it was like, no, he has to win. It's like, okay, but then Cindric get
Cindric's issue.
catches on
Oh my
fire,
gosh.
five, goes down 5 laps. It's like, is he going to pass Cindric at least, or is Cindric going to lose enough? And that was really fun to watch. And oh man, like there's so much. And then, oh yeah,
There's times where the playoffs are fun,
there
right?
are absolutely. I mean, sometimes it really sucks. I think back to like, uh, again, being a Larson fan, I think back to like round of eight last year, which was not a fun thing for me to watch.
Yeah.
I'm fully anticipating that happening again this year. That's not me not believing in the five team, but me just being like, okay, like I think I talked to you about this in private once, but not like being like I'm insecure about this, but like whenever, a driver I cheer for, mainly a Hendrick driver, is in the lead. And there's like 30 to go. I'm like, something's going to happen. I'm just going to go ahead and start dealing with this loss right now. And then whenever they do win, I'm still happy about it. But if they lose, I'm like, okay, I've already been processing this for a minute. I'm good to go. I don't want it to,
I've already grieved this loss. It's
yeah.
okay.
I mean, you can't do it all the time, but like there are times where it really works and it doesn't. But yeah, but one thing I really want to note is how many pit stop errors there were. I mean, there's pit stops slow due to like fires or something like we saw with Cindrix. You can't really do much about that, but like so many driving off the jack. I mean, I think Kyle Larson got a pit road penalty at one point and really set him back, along with some other things. And like pit road was a B plot to the A plot. I mean, it was crazy down there.
Yeah.
And what a night. I mean, for the team to come out like looking at the top 10, I mean, just these teams, some of them had some issues, but it really shows who had a cleaner night. The Bell, you can say he had a very clean night, never really caught up in anything. Brad Keselowski, same deal. Zane Smith, definitely someone that like just had a clean night and got through it all. Blaney didn't have the cleanest of nights, but like he still got through it all. And then also just you talk about clean nights, qualifying 38th to finish sixth. Corey Heim.
Yeah, that was
I
pretty
mean,
awesome.
crazy for him to be able to do all this. So really impressive on him. Um,
Where did
yeah,
Briscoe finish? What was Briscoe's finishing
ninth.
ninth?
He
Because he
qualified third
took,
first.
because he's now the points leader, isn't he? Him or Denny? Is it Denny?
We'll see it in a minute, but to finish up the Cup Series, because there's a lot to talk about, but there's only so much. My opinion on the tire, I want maybe dial it back just a little bit, or
That was pretty good.
figure something out to not have napalm building up in your car. I don't know if that would be, or like a tar bomb kind of deal, or a rubber
Yeah.
bomb, but that to me was the dangerous part. But outside of that, I really enjoyed this race. It's so different from everything else. Um, yeah, I would like to see this again. I would like to look forward to Bristol for that reason too. I think we're going to feel that momentum again that we saw that spring Bristol race of people being like, "Oh, is the tire going to wear off?" Because every race after that at Bristol was like, "Is the tire going to wear?" And then it wouldn't, and
Yeah.
then people were disappointed. So I hopefully we can keep this. It seems like Goodyear intentionally found it, and so they kind of maybe have the numbers and the data to be able to go off of. Again, I don't envy that job. It seems so sensitive to temperature and weather scenarios and track scenarios. But yeah, hopefully we see this again. Hopefully they can do something with Martinsville as well. That's a track that kind of needs this kind of life. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on the tire?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome. I mean, probably not awesome for some of the drivers or teams having to make so many stops and adjustments,
Smoke
but
inhalation.
yeah, I think it for the fans and a viewer's perspective, it was really good. Like you said, maybe dial it back a little bit, but I think tire wear is crucial for good competitive racing to where strategy is more important, like who gets on the pit road sooner, you make up lap time on the leader or the guys in front of you. That way you could kind of jump them and leapfrog them and or just general passing on the racetrack. I thought it was an overall good product that, we had. I don't, like I said, I don't love that it was falling off so much, but I think it was it provided a good race.
Absolutely. To look at the top 10, there's just a couple notes. Zane Smith finishing third. Great for that team. Really solid race out of them. They were always right there. Joey Logano, I only shout him out because from what I understand, this was his first top 10 in the next gen car at Bristol. Kind of crazy to think about.
Whoa.
Uh, Corey Heim, nothing but credit for him. Just a clean race, survived the night. Really cool to see him get that sixth place finish. So good for him. Carson Hocevar at battling the lead. I think he
Yeah.
led a little bit even for a while. Still finishes seventh, so good race for them. I think he was kind of a bit like like, oh, one got away kind of feeling after the race, which is only understandable. And then I would say Ty Gibbs is another one that deserves a lot of credit. He led a lot of laps in this race, and unfortunately, he made a whoa kind of crazy mistake. I don't know if you remember seeing that, but like
Yeah.
him missing the pit, and it was just I'm surprised there wasn't a wreck out of that. So many close calls throughout the night, but that closes out the Cup Series race. Now let's do two more things, which is our round of 12 eliminations predictions and then our predictions for next week. I already have my predictions ready for at least the Cup Series, if you want me to go
Okay.
ahead and name mine. I think
Yeah.
Tyler Reddick will officially be knocked. He was somebody that I had getting knocked in 16. I also say the same for Chastain.
Okay.
Their teams have just been too inconsistent for me to really believe it. Although I won't ever. They're not really just bad at any track necessarily, so they could absolutely not surprise me, but absolutely make it through. My kind of hot take, which is weird to say, that I think Bubba Wallace is a hot take that he will be eliminated in the 12 round of 12. They've been really consistent. They unfortunately had a bad finish at Bristol. It
They got
doesn't really.
wrecked.
Yeah, it doesn't show their actual performance, and he is only +1 above the cut line. I don't, I'm so confused on the points here. I don't try to keep up with them or try to understand them necessarily because, like, it's especially with a race like Bristol, trying to do that math is crazy. But I think Bubba will get knocked out, and I think Austin Cindric will get knocked out. So what are your cup
Man, I think
predictions?
that's literally the same
Oh, you
choices
had
I
the
had.
same.
But I think I
Uh,
said that the other day when we were watching live. I said my hot take, and I don't really want to see Bubba get knocked out. I just have a feeling
yeah.
this next round's gonna be tough. But then again, he has Kansas
Kansas is
in
a good
this
race
round.
for him. Yeah. But the
So
Roval
I'll
isn't,
take
and I don't know if his record
I'll
at New
take the
Hampshire.
45-2 and the one, and then let me see who's on the list. I'll go back to our
I mean, you
picture.
got Elliott, who's only +5 because due to a bad race, but he's also somebody like, yeah, he had a bad race, but he's not a bad driver either. I think he can be consistent enough in the next couple races. Um,
Yeah. I'll
again,
go I'll go the two, the one, uh
the 22 is also below the cut line. I just feel like they're,
Joey will somehow figure it out, right?
yeah, that's his story.
The two, the one, the 45, and I'm gonna go with
Hmm.
that's such a tough call. I'll
Yeah.
stick with the same four that are outside the cut line right now. I'll go the
Okay.
two, the 22, the one, and the 45.
Safe
I think the
picks.
one and the two are kind of the one is probably my biggest or the easiest pick to choose would be the one that
Really?
they just haven't really been they haven't been that consistent. I feel like if they hadn't won Charlotte, I don't know if they would even made the playoffs. And I love Ross. I don't feel like they've had the speed that they had
No.
2 years ago and even some last year. It's just been
Yeah.
like a down year. Just like the
Yeah.
45.
Well, yeah, the
Um,
45 has some races that really play into his favor, and but yeah, just the trust of that team is just not there right now, and that's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at the trust we have in the 23. A year ago, the regular season winner is far below his teammate who didn't even make the playoffs, if I
yeah,
remember right. And so it's crazy how that's switched. But let's get into the Xfinity Series. Um, my four would be Taylor Gray, the 48 of Dick Sanchez, the 8 of Sammy Smith. Part of me wants to say I might say Austin Hill, just because he had such a hole to get back from, didn't have a great Bristol race, but I think he'll be eliminated next. What's y'all's next elimination race? Is it the Roval? Because they're not
um,
racing at Hampshire next week.
the cutoff race is the Roval for the Xfinity
Yeah.
Series.
So he could absolutely surprise me. I think Jesse Love, he's pretty consistent. He's only -3, but Nick Sanchez, again, like that team can only go so far, and in my opinion, they do have some inconsistency, but they also have some pretty impressive runs. But the ups and downs of them is kind of what gets me. And Taylor Gray, I think they're in an unfortunate time of rut. So that's why I would probably put them below the cut line. Maybe Jesse Love gets past them, but also the 8, as we talked about, he's running on bad luck. That's the most momentum he has is what's the bad
Yeah,
luck for next week or the next race? So what would be your four?
I'd probably go the 8, the 48. I think the 54 and the 25 don't advance.
Yeah, that's
So
a good argument.
I'm gonna go Harrison, Taylor Gray, the 8 and the 48. Nick Sanchez, Sammy Smith don't advance.
Hmm. Yeah, it'd be interesting if both RCR cars, especially in the Xfinity series, get knocked out. Like that's a pretty big deal at this round, particularly. Um, All right, let's look at the truck series. Uh, I do think my two picks because there's only we only eliminate two, right?
Truck Series is only eliminating two at the round of eight cutoff. Right
Yeah.
now, it is the 13 and 38 that are on the outside looking in. I think I don't know. I'm gonna pick the 38. The 38 basically has to win this weekend. So if
And y'all's cutoff race is New
this
Hampshire.
weekend,
Okay.
hmm I'm
Ooh,
gonna say the 13 doesn't advance, and I want to say the 38 will advance, but I don't know.
it's your
Out
teammate.
of good faith, I'll say something happens to the 52. The 38 wins. 52
Oh,
and 13 don't advance.
yeah. For me, I'm definitely gonna say the 13 and the 71. That's me. Um,
Okay.
Rush Cruth, bit inconsistent. The 38, well, yeah, so those are my two because I don't know too much about the truck series, but yeah, the 71, I feel like I see him more in the midfield than up front. And he does have a not a bad start with plus 14, but yeah, we'll see how the race plays out. I mean, I could make a lot of arguments for any of these drivers that are from like eighth down, or not eighth, sixth down. Like I would say that's pretty up in the air. But let's get into our predictions for New Hampshire coming up this week. We said it on the live stream, but who do you have for winning at New Hampshire?
I have us winning New Hampshire, but I also could see the 38 win.
Yeah.
So I have us winning
So you have Lane
the
Riggs for the
38.
trucks.
Yep. Front row's gonna win.
Yeah.
And then um I'm gonna go with
For the Cup Series, you'll be
for the
where?
X there's no Xfinity this weekend, so it's
No,
just
no.
Cup. For Cup, that's a shoe in, dude. I got Bell. Bell loves that place.
Yeah, Bell could definitely go back to back pretty easily, but
It could be a back-to-back weekend for the Trucks and Cup series.
they have had a weird year. I'll say that. They haven't been as consistent as they've been in years past. Like they've actually been maybe more on the lines of a third place Gibbs car. The Hamlin and Briscoe have really been taking that name or taking those spots for a while. I mean, literally though, Joe Gibbs swept the first round of the playoffs, so it's a good pick. However, for the trucks, I'm going to go Chandler Smith. I
Okay.
really think like, he's a great driver. He can kind of win anytime. But yeah, I believe in them. I think they'll pull themselves out of here. They kind of have a season in a way like Bell. Like started off really well, went through a long rut.
Rough patch and
Yeah, and then for the Cup Series, though, I have Blaney right now. I could kind
okay,
of see Cindric also having a really good race and surprising us. Obviously, Bell, I'm not gonna. You could absolutely pick Bell. I mean, absolutely.
for sure.
This is his playground right now. Um, but I'm gonna say Blaney for now because Blaney just he has some magic on these short flat ovals that just he has a long run car. So you can either find that, but also again, Blaney's my pick, but you could also say any Joe Gibbs car right now. The only team I can't really, or any Penske car, the only team I can't really be confident about at these short flat ovals right now is Hendrick, unfortunately. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, and this is one of the most interesting playoffs we've seen in a while. In the way that, like, I mean, I'm looking at Hamlin in the Cup Series; he's only plus 26, 28. I can't quite see it right now, but like, it's kind of crazy that I mean, I remember years past we had people coming in that were just they had 2 rounds off in a way from just their cushion. So
Yeah. I
we
mean, look at the
haven't,
88 entering the playoffs. The 88 had
yeah,
4 wins and it basically went away after one race.
yeah. So this is a quite an interesting playoff. So we'll check back on the eliminations soon, especially for the trucks next week, but then Xfinity the following weekends as well as the Cup Series. But it's been a good podcast. Look forward to having Lane hopefully come on soon this week,
Doing
and so
We'll be
if
doing the Pop and Top episode with him, recapping the IRP win and Bristol.
yeah, and swing swords around. So be looking forward to that. That should come out Thursday. This one will be coming out Wednesday. And if you haven't already, we have some great videos previously. I mean, some great pop and top episodes. We had a good, well, I mean, all of them great, but particularly we had 4 or 3 in a row that were just were really natural in a lot of ways. But as I would honestly recommend any of the pop and tops to go back and watch. But looking forward to next week. Good luck at New Hampshire, and hopefully the 34 can come out again on top. Which
On top, man. Us to the
um,
38. So,
Oh, that's what, yeah, y'all are 38. I mean, definitely a threat. So, yeah.
heck yeah, man. Well,
All right.
great episode, and until next time.
Ten away.
See ya.
5, 4, 3,